Welcome to The Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to The Actor's Choice. Brought to you by Photography is an Art, Harvey Brandman, Master Photographer, located at 1307 North San Fernando Boulevard, Burbank, California. And attorney Ron Irwin's book, Haiku, Style, Passion, Heart. And author Larry Buford's book, To the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule, and State Farm agent Carla Green, and veteran actor Rob Brownstein's training facility and Actors Space. Roll it.
Deep in the heart of the city, once called Baghdad by the Bay, resides one of the most talented and versatile stars this country has ever produced, Lily Fargate.
Who's Lily Fargate?
Lily Fargate.
Who's Lily Fargate?
Well,
I think she's like from Tennessee or Wisconsin or some city like that.
Vicky, do you even know who you live with?
Does any of us know who we are, really?
I've done Broadway, television, movies, the whole gamut. But fame? Fame is funny, you know. It's very much like your first husband.
Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest of the new year is an actor who came to Hollywood back in the days when Hollywood was not like it is today. He was addicted to an industry, one that gave African Americans a slight nod. Nevertheless, he took on a very challenge to prove them wrong. Now, please welcome, if you will, Michael St. John. Michael?
Oh,
glad to have you.
There you are.
Hi,
Ronnie.
He is. First question.
Yeah.
Who is Michael St. John?
You tell me. I have the slightest idea. You know, after you come to Hollywood, before you come to Hollywood, you're one person, innocent. You know, the world takes you for granted, etc. And when you finally get to Hollywood, it forces you to see the world very realistically. You know. It has a lot of gold and a lot of other things that shines, but once you stay there more than a week, the darkness begins to overcome you, and the reality of what America is really about as well.
Got you.
So it changes. The little guy from Baptist church with your grandmother, and you're praying every Sunday and Wednesday, is quite different than we get to Hollywood, because then you see avocados and trees and things like that you never saw back in Philly or outside of Philly, and your life and your face, and you begin to wonder, where are you? Who are you? But as you progress and your challenges are confronted, and then you decide, I'll discover it myself. And you don't think about it. You just go along day by day, absorbing things, you know, anxious to shake hands with those who have accomplished and survived. Have I said enough? Please stop me, because you know I can go on forever, you know.
Okay. Where are you from originally?
Morton, Pennsylvania, about 10 miles outside of Philly.
Oh, Philly.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. When did you first get the idea to be an actor?
Well, when I was about 12 years old, I went to Philadelphia to see Anna Lucasta, Rex Ingram, Isabel Cooley was starring in from Broadway. They were on the road. And I said, I want to do that as well. And so it just kept in my mind. And so I started talking with my mom. I said, Mom, I want to get something, acting lessons. And she said, why? You do enough acting home. You know, and I was really insulted, but that's okay. That's how my mother was. My grandmother, you know, she said, give him a chance. So I went back into Philly and took a class, Bessie V. Hicks School there, and they were amused because I was only about 12 years old. And so therefore I just went on from there. But I started taking lessons at the different schools, at Hedgerow Theater, and which is well known with Helen Hayes and all these people I was able to meet. And the more I got involved with acting, then I decided to go into music, etc., by meeting Paul Robeson, Josephine Baker, and Art Tatum, and people like that. I was determined I was not going to be staying in the ghetto type of America and just look and say, how it's wonderful. I want to be a part of it and show them I had enough talent. I maybe didn't as much, but I had the dream and the desire, and that's the beginning of your whole life and face, really.
Okay. Now, you did have included in your thoughts going on Broadway.
Yeah, because I was influenced, because I went to Broadway when I was 13 years old. And I decided that I wanted to be a part of, I was auditioning for certain shows up there because people in my community were impressed, They thought that I could do this and that, Why not send them to New York? And there are a few people who wanted to accompany me to New York. I said, no, I want to go by myself at 13 years old. I thought it was just like going down the street at the corner store, Got to New York, all these buildings, these people, these cars. It was extraordinary experience,
Yes.
But, I pretended I was 99 years old.
Got you.
I had that attitude.
So when did you come to Hollywood?
Well, after the KKK decided they didn't like me in Indiana, Richmond, Indiana, Earlham College, I got a scholarship there, etc., and they voted me as the class president in Richmond, Indiana. And that class, they were wonderful, the guys and gals. I was about 3 or 4 of us blacks in Earlham College, and I was voted. And homecoming day, I was marching down with my class, and the KKK attacked me and the class. They threw rocks and all sorts of produce, and they had all sorts of things, terribly frightening things. Okay. I was 18 years old,
right.
And they. The guys rushed me back to the campus, and the dean hid me in his attic. And about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, the KKK came to the campus and firebombed my room. And so the dean, he decided to call his buddy at USC and said, "This is the situation." They said, "Have him sent here. Transfer his scholarships and money there." And they put me on a Greyhound bus and packed me and hit me in the back of a truck on campus and got me to the Greyhound bus, and I got to L.A. in the morning, and there were a few people from the campus who met me there, and that's how life really began for me, a new world. Okay. It wasn't Broadway, because the reason why I wanted to go to Broadway is because I knew it was more opportunity, and I didn't want to say "Yah's a boss."
Yah's a boss.
I didn't have to say "Yah's a boss." Hollywood, all I saw was "Yah's a boss," and Louise Beavers and all the black actors that were, they all said it to survive, and I didn't know how to say "Yah's a boss" well, and that's why I had difficulty getting into Carmen Jones, my first film, because they wanted me to say "Yah's boss," and I said, "How do you say that?" And it was hilarious, and they thought I was kidding, but it was quite a challenge. And Nick Stewart from Amos and Andy all protected.
Stewart, yes, he played.
They protected me.
Mm-hmm.
I ate Ethel Waters, and they gave me jobs when I knew I appeared with her as well.
Gotcha.
Had a fight with her on stage, but that's okay.
I understand that you started to move around Tinseltown, and understand that you met Betty Davis.
Yeah, Betty Davis and I met. I was going to Jimmy Cagney's retirement party at the Directors Guild, because I was writing for the Santa Monica Outlook newspaper, because I was writing to make more money while I was going to USC. So I went there, and I was talking to everybody, and I was talking to Ronald Reagan, complaining to him that
Ronald Reagan?
Ronald Reagan, he was the president of the Screen Actors Guild at the time. And they introduced me to him, and he says, "How are you?" And I said, "Fine." He says, "Well, how do you think things will be better if we had more black actors, giving jobs an opportunity?" He says, "Well, Sammy Davis Jr." I said, Sammy Davis is not only black in Hollywood. And he says, "Well, it takes time, so just be careful." I said, "Thank you very much." And then someone tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Michael, be careful. I'll be nice, because don't turn around and make a fool of yourself, because your favorite actress is here." I said, "Who?" "Betty Davis." I went crazy. Her bangs. Her Mamie Eisenhower dress out to here. Beautiful dress. And I looked at her and I ran over to her. I said, Miss Davis. She says, "Yes." "Oh, Miss Davis." I was a fool. And she says, "Just be calm. What's your name?" I said, "Michael St. John." She says, "Well, why don't we talk tomorrow or something?" I said, okay. She says, why don't you take my phone number and an address? I said, okay. Looked in my pocket. I didn't have a pen or anything like that. So I ran and asked some of the waiters. I said, give me, please, you have a pen? But no one had a pen.
Cut a pen.
Oh, I was furious, except one of the waiters.
Yes.
One of the waiters came over and said, sir, here's a pen and a paper. I took the pen and the paper, and someone had spilled champagne on the floor. I slid all the way over to Miss Davis. Right in front of her on the floor. I said, Miss Davis, I have a pen and a paper. She says, oh, I see. Let's do it tomorrow. Are you sure you're all right? I said, yes, Miss Davis. So that's how our relationship began. Because after that point, she got me jobs all over town.
How'd you like those Betty Davis eyes?
Oh, I loved her. I mean, she walked in the room. She was Betty Davis in the movie. I saw her in a film called The Corn is Green, where she was a teacher, and she was an Irish teacher, and she supported this young kid who was a minor, young, 18 or 18, like around my age, and she encouraged him to study. They want to go to Oxford, and that whole idea, so that whole thing was in my mind, and I looked at her as that teacher. And I told her when we met the following day, not 2 days later, really. And I went to her house behind the Beverly Hills Hotel, and we had a great time. And she said, I like you. I don't know why. Yeah, but I'd like you. I said, I like you too. I mean, I was 18 years old, you guys. You know what I mean? And so, therefore, from that time, when she got me a job at 20th Century Fox, the first black person to be in the public relations in the department. And, Richard Zane Jr. was there. She dragged me over. She was doing Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte. Remember the film? Yes. She dragged me in. She said, come on with you. I'm going to do something. You're not going to be hungry very long. I wasn't hungry, but she, in her mind, took me over there and said, sign him up. So I was signed at 20th Century Fox. They sent me to China and all over the place. Okay. It was wonderful. They were doing the Bible at the 20th Century Fox with John Huston. Okay. And I got to know him and Cece, his wife, as well because of it, Okay. It was wonderful. I've been rather lucky. Yes. Now,
your book says that while you were not in class at USC, you found time you were found on a film set, observing and meeting stars or those who you thought would make it for you, like Sammy Davis Jr.
Oh, yeah, all of them.
Otto Preminger.
Loretta Young, Ira Gershwin, when we were doing his musicals, and his brother George. And, Ann Sheridan, Ronald Reagan, of course, And he remembered me, that's for darn sure. He looked at me and always smiled,
Future president.
Oh, yeah. And Spencer Tracy and Katie Hepburn, because when I was doing the desk set with Shirley Bruce, she did Hazel on TV.
Gotcha.
She came backstage. She says, yes, you were nervous, aren't you? I said, no, Miss, no. And she says, yes, you were with Spencer. We're here. He would tell you the same thing. Right. And every time she saw me, she says, you're getting better. That kind of thing. So I got used to her voice, her attitude. And sometimes I was Betty Davis, sometimes with Katie Hepburn. It was hilarious and people were making fun of me, like Juanita Moore says, I know where you've been today, People like that, because Juanita Moore did Imitation of Life, and before she died, was included. She was in my reading of my play, my pre-Broadway play, I Feel Sin Coming On, was based on the earlier part of my book, How You Went Through the Back Door. And while she was almost 100 years old, Juanita Moore was. And she said, I want to be inside. This is a lovely play, because she played the grandmother in the play. But she died during rehearsal, It was very sad, But she was also nominated for Imitation of Life as well. Oh, yeah. Because we were all working at that Ebony Showcase Theater. I'm sorry to talk so much.
That's okay. You met one of the most powerful persons in Hollywood, Otto Preminger.
Oh, he called me a snit and everything else. He thought I was impossible. He kicked me out of it. He wanted to kick me out of his office. He was at 20th Century Fox. We were there. And
Ludwig.
Oh, yeah, I had an office over there.
Yes.
And so Helen, and everybody, I met him in New York. And Hedda Hopper as well, because when I was 13 years old, and he remembered me because I was auditioning all over the place. And when I heard that they were doing Carmen Jones, and then it was based on the Broadway thing, of course, I decided to make an appointment. So I went to his office, and says, what do you want? I said, Mr. Preminger, I'm here. Why? What do you do? I said, don't you remember I was in New York? Oh, you're the kid that had the big mouth. I said, Mr. Preminger, let's get the business here. He says, what kind of actor are you? I know you sing fine. I said, well, I'm the best actor in town. I was not. And he tried to kick me out. He says, well, I give you a script. I said, okay, give me the script. He gave me the script over to me, and he says, read the part of T-Bone. I said, T-Bone, really? So I read it. He was amused. He says, you are good. I said, well, you're not a bad director yourself, but you can make me better, And he wanted to kick me. He says, what did you say? I said, well, and you're a good director. I saw, the things you're doing. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. I was 18, 19 years old. Really? This was 1953, because they didn't see it until before. And he says, okay. He smiled and looked at me. And I said, well, where's my contract? He said, contract? What are you talking about, my contract? You just come here to read. I said, there's no waste time. Just sign the contract. I'll do the film for you. I know you want to keep on going.
No, once you stop banging on the table.
But just before he kicked me out of the
Yes.
He says, I'd like to very much, I'll ask Ellen to give you a call. For when we start with you sign contract, then we start with. I said, fine.
Okay.
And I came to this, when they shot, he transferred from 20th Century Fox over to RKO. Howard Hughes is over.
Yes.
And when he got over there, I was over when they started shooting and rehearsing. I was over there every day watching. Wow. He got sick and tired of seeing me. Every time he turned around, there I was on the set looking. And he tried to ignore me completely. And Dorothy and Pearl Bailey and Carol and what's her name? They just died.
Yes.
The actress is Diane Carroll.
Oh, Diane.
Yeah, we were all together.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Stewart was in it too.
Yeah, Nick Stewart, yeah.
Brock Peters, and we were all together. And I was T-Bone, the pest of the whole group.
Well, you in the movie Carmen Jones?
Yes, I did T-Bone. And
so that was T-Bone.
Yeah. He expected me to sound like Yazabos. But when I signed that contract, I was not Yazabos. He says, where's the character that you are? I said, I left him someplace else. I can't find Mr. Permission. You are going to do the way I want. So he had Maximilian Slater, the assistant director, try to teach me how to sound black. So I was going around learning my dialogue, sounding German or whatever he was from, and the part of, I had a lot of dialogue, but he started cutting out. You can't use this, can't use that. And at the end of the day, saw the things. It was hilarious.
So you did have some jobs, and then you met a lady by the name of Ethel Waters.
Oh, Ethel Waters, and I met her actually at Ebony Showcase Theater.
Is that you in the picture with her?
Oh yeah, that's me. Before our big fight on stage. The whole thing of the saga of my time in Hollywood has been trying to survive as an individual who had his own mind. Mm-hmm. I was influenced by their notoriety, by their fame, and I respected them. But as an actor, I felt at the time I needed respect as well.
Yes.
And Ethel liked my spunk, and she met me at Ebony Showcase Theater. Mm-hmm. We got along fine. Then I was doing a musical called Phineas Rainbow with David Wayne. She was there on opening night and the closing night, and she said, I want to. At the party, she came up to me. She said, "I like you very much, She says, "I know who you are. I know your mouth." She said, "Well, I'm doing a revival of Member of the Wedding." And I said, "Oh, how interesting." And she says, "I'd like you to play Honey Camden." And I was amused, and I said, I was flattered as well. Ethel Waters, iconic actress, let's face it. I said, okay. She said, well, give me a call tomorrow. But let me tell you something. The things you pulled on Phineas Rainbow, do not pull it on Member. I am the star, not you, Mr. St. John. I said, okay. Mm-hmm. So I called her, we arranged, and so therefore we got together after my run with Phineas Rainbow. Okay. And the rehearsals, she decided to sit in the audience because she knew the play for so long because she got, Tony and everything else. And she wouldn't come up on stage to work with the rest of the actors. And I said, why are you sitting in the audience, Miss Waters? She says, what do you mean? I said, but you're the star. How can I give you the reaction that you think necessary to make the scene works? Yes. She said, oh, really, Mr. St. John? Mr. St. She used to call me Michael when she didn't know at Nick Stewart. Oh, Mr. St. John. And she smiled. She got on stage, and she got the reaction she thought was worked well. Okay. And we got fine. And then we got an opening night. And then, yes, we got opening night. And then she threw a chair at me on stage. Okay. I threw it back, and we became the best... to some
scandal in Hollywood.
It was exciting.
Let's move on because you would think that you have seen a lot. And you came out with a book called Hollywood Through the Back Door.
Yeah. It's a clean back door, too.
Okay. What's in the book?
Everything. Not everything, because there's certain things we shouldn't talk about in
Right.
public. But most of the things I think are funny, interesting, taught me a lot about survival.
Okay.
And Mary Pickford and people like that, and all the people I've worked with through the years. You know? And in the Shirley Booth, I think she was Hazel on TV.
Okay.
And people like that. And Lena Horne. I pretended to be her son. That's how I got my time on Sunset Strip, you know, the purple and I opened and they thought it was Lena Horne's son, Hedda Hopper knew. But she says, I like your spunk. I'm not going to put it in my column, but I'll give you a chance to grow. So I got a lot of chances because I decided I was not going to be in Hollywood and just waste time because I felt life was too short.
Okay. All right. Obviously, the book did well
Yeah.
because now they have edition 3.
Yeah.
There's edition number 3.
Oh yeah, and they're developing now a mini series based on the book.
Wow!
And this guy from the South who's on the Daily Show, Noah, what's his first name? Trevor Noah. Yeah, they'll think about him playing my role, but they'll probably make it work for him and his personality, etc. But they like the story, and it's rather exciting. They'll have a lot of the shenanigans I got into, and most of it is there. When I was in China and Brazil, and the things I experienced down there, you know. So it's going to be rather exciting, really.
Okay, let me just read a couple of chapters that you have in
dear
here.
God.
A foxtrot of mixed emotions, a carnival of clowns and footlights, New York, New York, New York, another beat, another dance step, an unholy alliance with James Dean. Life begins to have meaning, masked ball on many faces, Rio Bagata, it's a mad, mad world that goes on and on and on. Wow.
James Dean and I had quite a thing during his period, and we went through a lot together, and I went through a lot with him. And I had a lot of things that I didn't know about in Morton, Pennsylvania. He exposed me to, and I was pretending I knew everything, you know. But that was a little bit. I learned a lot. I grew a lot within a short time.
Gotcha.
You know.
Well, how can we get a copy of this book? How can
Amazon has it.
Amazon?
Yeah, and a lot of the places around, all
Okay.
these but Amazon naturally is the easiest because you get it in 2 days.
All right.
And it's inexpensive too, so don't worry about that.
I see that you're on we have a couple of photos that we'd like to let people see. Can you move to the next one, Tony? There it is. Look at that picture. That's you on a new book.
Oh yes, it's Oasis. It's the spring. That's under the winter or spring issue, and it has a lot of the photos when I was a Boy Scout, you know, and all the decent things I did, and some of the outrageous things as well, you know. And I'll be doing. They want me now to do each issue to do a special column about people like you and.
You do a column. Tell people about that column. You do it.
The Canyon News in Beverly Hills.
Okay.
I've been with them for 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's exciting because I get mail and letters from all over the world: Australia, Iceland, Germany, England, South America.
Got you.
And because I try to write things that encourage people to follow their dreams and don't depend on other people.
Right.
Once you decide you want to be something, do something, prepare yourself. That's rather important.
Yes.
And then you go out and do it.
Next picture, sir. Who are these people? I've seen these people somewhere.
Oh, the middle gal is your friend.
Yes.
Yeah,
Pepper J.
Yeah, because she put me on her show because of you, because you recommended my being on her show, and we had a ball.
Yes. Kurt Kelly next to you on the right-hand side.
Yeah, and their mouths were always open when I was talking, and I allowed them to speak a few words.
I like that you allowed. Next picture, please, sir.
There were producers of mine working with me right now. That's
Okay.
Michael Plaster and Steve Proctor, and they helped me along with two other guys. I gotta put their name because they expect to hear the name. Sal Scorza, who was Grammy Awards books. I worked with him, and Steve Proctor as well, and Michael Plaster. They all worked. The guys that I worked with for years.
Wow.
With the award shows, the music awards, the Oscar awards, and things like that. I did all the program books and the interviews with all the candidates and. It was exciting because they called me and they know that I know what I'm doing, and I got to let them know. And that's important to understand who you are, that you know what you're doing, and that's when you get respect.
Right.
As a teacher, if you're teaching a class, your class has to have know and respect that you can give the answers that's necessary for them to progress.
Yes.
And I make that clear no matter what I'm doing.
Doggone it. Michael, I hate to do this to you, but we're
want
out
me
of
to shut up
time.
now, okay?
No, you're out of time, unfortunately. We got to get you to come back.
That'd be lovely.
I have one quick question for
Uh-oh.
you. Quick question. How do you want to be remembered?
Oh, really? As a guy who was honest, who faced who he was and what he was proud of it, and who has opened the doors for other people who grew up the same way, possibly disadvantaged, and the only thing he had was his dreams and hopes and a desire to be something away from his beginning. I think that's terribly paramount to survival.
Mm-hmm. Michael, thank you very, very much. Oh, by the way, may I have your right hand, please?
Oh, really?
You're going to get one of these. A trademark.
Oh, my God. Where can I spend it? At the drugstore downtown?
Anywhere you want. We give it to people
Really?
for good luck.
Oh, thank you so much.
I've
Really?
had people who 17 years ago, I gave them one and they still got it. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, Mae West gave me a pair of her drawers. You know.
On that note, Michael, thank you very, very much.
I know you're going to get rid of me today.
Yeah, you are, Michael. Michael, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very, very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. A studio of Harvey Brandman, Photography as an Art, is proud to offer you a $100 discount off any photo package valued at $300 or more. Now, Harvey has been in the business for nearly a quarter of a century, and he certainly knows how to take care of his business and his customers. So please give him a call today at 818-954-9294. That's 818-954-9294. And please tell Harvey that you heard about his offer right here on The Actor's Choice. Haiku, style, passion, heart. It's the latest release from author and attorney Ron Irwin. The book was inspired by the author's first exposure to haiku well over a half-century ago. Now, this experience produced within him a deep passion to experience Asia, which he later did as a U.S. Marine. The book is available in paperback at Lulu.com. Now, Irwin says he'll give 20% of net book sales split evenly between the veterans of foreign wars and Vietnam veterans of America. Book to the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule. It's a new book by author Larry Buford. It's a historical and faith-based account of how what we do and follow today will affect us tomorrow. The author also calls it an adventure for those who want to travel back through time. The book is now available in paperback for only $17.95 from Amazon, so please get your copy today. And now, a word from State Farm agent Carla Green. Roll it.
Let me ask you something. What do you see when you look at your home and your car? Do you see a bundle? A combo deal? That's how other insurance companies see them. But a State Farm agent sees so much more. Because the State Farm agent sees your home and your car as more than just four walls and four wheels. They see the things you've worked really hard for. So why not give them the protection they deserve? Let me help you with that. Give me a call. State Farm agent Carla Green, 213-239-9675. I look forward to speaking with you.
Actors. The idea is to build on each actor's strengths and who you are to help refine and reimagine your acting and your career. For more information, call class at robbrownstein.com. That's class at robbrownstein.com. Or you can give them a call at 323-646-1268. That's 323-646-1268. Thank you. And finally, if you have a product, a service, or an upcoming event that you'd like to see advertised on this program, please call 323-533-1036. That's 323-533-1036. Our prices are very affordable. Thank you. This is The Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Roll it.
BJ, will you get in this car? BJ! BJ. You know, I really don't know what I was thinking about when I came here.
BJ, I'm sorry.
Sorry about?
All right, then I'm not sorry. What do you want me to say? BJ, we can talk about this.
No, you're wrong. We can't talk.
Why not?
Because we're different.
What do you mean different? How can we be different? You're my son. Now, when you come back to the apartment, we will sit down and we'll talk.
Right. You'll ask me if I'm hungry.
BJ,
back.
will you give me a chance? Now, where are you going?
Don't worry, I'll be back to bother you again.
I want to talk with you. I want you to talk to me.
My next guest is a veteran from Sacramento, California. He currently has 84 IMDb TV and film critics. He's also an accomplished staged actor and director, and he's working on an upcoming program and project at the Odyssey Theater in Los Angeles as part of the theater's ensemble 50th anniversary circa 69 seasons. Ladies and gentlemen, you just saw him on that cut we had there. That's congratulations. It's a boy from 1971. He was in that with Bill Bixby and Jack Abramson and a whole bunch of guys. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Darrell Larson.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Man, that's a tough act to follow, Michael St. John. Mae West gave him there. Jesus.
Well, don't bang on the table.
I won't. I learned my lesson.
It's
so wonderful to see that scene with Bill.
Oh, yeah.
That was it was one of those introducing Darrell Larson credits.
Uh-huh.
And from the moment we met, we were totally bonded. It was completely a father-son communication.
Yes.
He's one of the best actors through all of that I ever worked with. Mm-hmm. Just incredibly adept.
Wow.
I learned so much from him.
Wow. In 1970, you got your first IMDb actor credit for a role, a film called Student Nurses.
Yes, sir.
Remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Takes you back a little bit?
Yes. I was dying of cystic fibrosis in it and had an affair with the nurse.
Oh, okay.
That was taking care of me. It was Julie Corman, Roger's wife, started a production company. Mm-hmm. And that was their first show. And they did a first film. They did a series of the student whatevers. Mm-hmm. And that was a great one. It was so much fun. Again, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
So,
as they say, a newbie, a struggling actor.
That's right.
Indeed.
That's right. The actress's name was Elaine Giftos,
okay,
who played the nurse.
Okay.
And she was ultra supportive. All of them were. It was a great experience.
Okay. You started working regularly. So what kind of roles are you getting, and what kind of roles did you want to get?
I often got slightly troubled youth.
Okay.
It's obviously wholesome, but also had a dark, whatever it might be. I had a dark, some problem inside me, a shadow.
Right.
The first actual job on television was Marcus Welby, and I had worshipped Robert Young. Father knows best. Are you kidding? There he is now. And he treated me very much. He took a fatherly role with him. We stayed in touch up to his death. He sent me Christmas cards and really believed in me. I worked 2 more Welbys. Mm-hmm. And then, no, I'm sorry, that's the other one. All My Darling Daughters, mm-hmm. Which was a TV movie with a sequel. And Bob was the main person in that, the father with all these daughters who all got married on the same day. But the significant thing in both cases was Eve Arden was in the All My Darling Daughters, and Anne Southern played my grandmother in Congratulations, It's a Boy.
These are heroes and legends.
Total heroes of mine.
Wow.
And again, Jack Albertson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got to work with these people that were my idols and people that who had technique. Like, you could not imagine what Ann Southern could do with a scene.
Who was your agent?
I know.
Good man.
Jack Fields, at the time. Mm-hmm. And also the generosity that every single one of these people showed to me. Mm-hmm. Diane Baker was in Congratulations, Boy, and I was doing a drunk scene. And at one point she came up and she said, you really don't need to get drunk. I said, baby, I'm sober. I mean, she was totally convinced. And that also was, those sort of things really matter. I mean, she may have been joking, but she made me feel like I was really hitting it. Mm-hmm. And that's always true. I've worked with very few people that were not kind and supportive. all through the years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like I said up front, you have 87 actor credits. That's a lot of movies. A lot of
Yeah.
movies. In 1982, you had the role of Llewellyn's spy in a film called Francis. Co-starring in that movie was a gentleman who became very, very special to you. His name was Sam Shepard.
Yeah. A legend, if anybody is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I actually met him in 77. But I first read a play of his in 68.
Okay.
And at the time, I went, okay, this guy, I want to work with, I want to do his plays for the rest of my life. Here I am, 50 years later, and I'm doing his plays still. I did maybe 10 of his, I think 9 or 10 of his shows, and often he was there, would give me guidance, and he was meticulous and precise. You look at his plays, they seem wacky and kind of off the wall, but they were the opposite of off the wall. They were, even in 69, which is when this play, The Unseen Hand, that we're doing, it was meticulous. And you'll see, though, it's wild.
Right.
It has a lot of different styles and strategies, but the play is very focused on real things. In this case, toxic masculinity, which is now 69. He was writing about how can we escape from this male toxicity, this need, in fact, for violence and killing. He uses Western outlaws to exemplify that. We think of them as these paragons, Gary Cooper and stuff, which is his favorite. But you look at it a little deeper, and these people are killers.
Yeah.
And robbers and rapers.
Yes.
And so that is part of this particular play, and also the survival of the earth. That we are now at a place where we are endangering our planet. And these cowboys...
Could you speak a little louder? Somebody in Washington, D.C. didn't get that point.
Yes. We are destroying our planet.
Yes.
And why?
Yes.
We're committing mass suicide in a certain way. We got to figure out why. And this play that he wrote in 1969 is dealing with those issues. And frankly, I did the play before in the last century, and I did not get it. Now, after all these years and reading it 150 times, I really started to see what this play is attempting to do. And everything he did had a serious intent.
Because, we go to plays, we go for two reasons, to be entertained and to be informed. That's why we do
That's
it.
right. To be elevated, to be brought to a more human state, a deeper understanding of what it means to be a human being.
You did a play called Mike's Murder.
A movie, written and directed by a man who was also a mentor to me and a surrogate dad, James Bridges, who also did China Syndrome, and he put me in that movie as well. But this movie he wrote for the people who were in it. Deborah Winger, myself, Paul Winfield. These roles were written for us and shaped to his understanding of me. And that's one where he really brought out the shadow in me. If I'd taken a left turn, I would have been this character, Pete. And he knew that. And he knew what insecurity was in Deborah that you wouldn't have seen in Urban Cowboy or Officer and a Gentleman or any of that. And he got the magnificence of Paul Winfield. This absolute, he was an aristocrat, man. He was like Nelson Mandela.
Yes.
He was obviously a king. And that was what was in that part as well. So that movie is probably that will be my best role ever. And it's now become a cult movie.
Yes.
People coming at me all the time on Facebook saying, that movie changed my life. Maybe you get sober, and because there's a lot of cocaine in it. It's the 80s in Hollywood. Right. So there's a lot of, why are we drawn to that?
Right.
And so Jim was a deep guy. And I met him on an interview for the Paper Chase.
Yes.
We started talking, and he walked me in my car. We could not stop talking to each other. And we never did till he died. But he still talks to me. I mean, every once in a while he comes down and says, okay, man, you be you. Let him be him. You be you. And that was a profound lesson for me in my life.
Wow.
Let people be angry and wrong, or they can't be wrong. It's their reality. So he was, and his mate was a guy named Jack Larson.
Jack Larson. Any relation?
Played Jimmy Olsen on the Superman show, and he was my other dad. Okay. We had the same last name.
Yeah.
And he died in He died 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
And remains a profound influence on my life.
Got you. Darrell, I got to tell you, man, this is one of the reasons why we do this show. We don't do an entertainment show. We do a show about actors.
Edifying.
Because
yes.
I love actors and
Me too,
actresses.
So did Sam.
Yes.
Sam knew everybody, and he knew the people that were the best, in what they were doing, especially his work. So, for instance, when we did Killer's Head in New York, Killer's Head is the play that is the curtain raiser for Unseen Hand, and it's a guy in an electric chair, blindfolded, sitting there, and waiting. But what he's doing is so Sam. He's making plans for the future. Right up to the last minute when they fry him, he's staying in life. But what we did was, I realized at a certain point, everybody wants to be in Sam's plays. And this is 3 pages. All you got to do is learn the lines. We wheel you out in the chair. There's no blocking. And you sit there and speak. So we got Scott Glenn and Ethan Hawke and Stephen Lang and Arliss Howard and Bill Pullman and Dermot Mulroney, all these different guys to play the same play, but it's a different play.
I see.
Depending on who it is. Scott Glenn was an old guy who probably killed more than one person. Ethan Hawke was obviously a kid who something happened, but he's not a killer. Dermot Mulroney did it in New York. It was the only play he's ever done, and now he's doing it again here in L.A. Also, that's the play he does in theaters.
Gotcha.
I mean, in live.
I noticed as I went through your IMDb record that it's been a long time since you've done a film. What, 2001?
10. Give me a break. I had done independent films, and I taught at Columbia for 12 years. My particular area of teaching was how to direct actors for film. And it's a particular skill. And I did several shorts with my students. Their particular project, they'd ask me to be in it. And it became part of the learning process, too, because I wouldn't correct them, but I'd say, okay, this is what's helpful to me. This is what's useful. Add. Don't try to subtract. Add what it is, and I'll get what needs to be adjusted. And so you get closer to the truth then, instead of having to try to hit your mark or do what they want. My perfect example is the guy says, faster, cross faster. And my feeling then is, I want to get to that woman that I need to be with. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's from a need,
a need, yeah.
not an assignment. So that sort of thing really became important to me. I also I'd been auditioning since I was 17.
Oh, yes, gosh.
And, at
we
the
call
best,
it the big A.
Yeah. at best, you're going to get 80% of it.
Yes.
I mean, you're going to get 20% of it at best.
Yeah.
So finally it wore me down. We moved to New York. I just backed up, directed a lot, helped an artistic director a couple of times for, organizations. And then I had to get out of New York. And I did a one-man show while I was in New York about Doc Holliday, called The Confessions of Doc Holliday, that I sort of put together.
Doc Holliday?
Doc Holliday,
the
man.
gambler,
And yes, he was a best friend of Wyatt Earp, but he was a dentist from the South, from Virginia. So he came, because he had tuberculosis, he came west for a drier climate and became a gambler and a killer. But at the end of this play, he dies. He spits up blood and drops dead. He's writing a letter to his niece, who was a nun, trying to explain himself, why his life went this way. And so it's confessions.
Gotcha.
And so he's writing this letter through the whole piece, and then in the last sentence, he just drops. Before he even finishes it, he drops.
Bam.
Yeah. So that's one of the hardest things I ever did.
Wow.
To have to hold a stage for over an hour.
Wow.
So, and I did it many times. I did it here in L.A. too, at a theater called the Met Theater that Ed Harris and Amy Madigan and Holly Hunter and Arliss Howard and Beth Henley and James Gammon, who was he played all of Sam's dads, and Sam's dad was really probably the most important person in his work. So all these guys, we ran a theater at Santa Monica and Oxford together. And Sam came down and did cowboy poetry with us one night. And, you know, we stayed always in touch. He never said no to me.
Right.
I didn't realize until he died, and I was doing a tribute to him, and which was live streamed. You can still see it. It's
In 2017, he died of what?
ALS.
Yes.
It was Lou Gehrig's disease. They were doing a revival of Buried Child, starring Ed. The way Ed and Sam met was we were doing a production of Cowboy Mouth, and I asked Sam. He was in town. I said, "You got to see this actor."
Right.
So he came down to rehearsal, and went home and wrote "Fool for Love."
Got you.
So then he and Ed had a long-term collaboration, as with me.
Yeah.
And Ed said something really significant after Sam died. He said, "You know, I never saw Sam doing something he didn't want to be doing." And that is the essence of the guy.
We're running on time, but before we do, I want to let people get a chance to see that this is a video of you standing, doing a play. Can you roll that, Tony?
This is called How It Happened, with apologies to Sam Shepard. I would see her in the hallways, clutching her books and binder close to her chest, moving faster than most of the other kids, like she was in a big hurry. Sometimes she would stop and giggle with some dumb chick and then move on, her face returning to her usual expression. Solemn, proud, a little scared. I'd scope her hair, blonde with a mist of red you noticed when she stepped through a blast of sunlight. And man, I would go after that flag of her hair like she was a calf bolting from the chute. I knew it was stupid, but sometimes I'd make a lariat gesture, just for myself, a little spin by my hair, toss that rope over the heads of all those shuffling kids milling around, and that noose would pass right over her head.
Excellent.
Let me explain real quick. That was from a series called Backstory, where you have a theme by the title of the play, and that was Fool for Love. And he had never explained, Sam, how these brother and sister got together and had sex before they knew they were brother and sister. So I try to explain it.
Got you.
So that's what that is. And again, we're The Unseen Hand and Killer's Head is a double bill open on January 18th at the Odyssey. Please get your tickets.
Can you show us that picture of the Odyssey there, Tony? There it is, the Odyssey.
Yeah, the Odyssey is on Sepulveda and Olympic. This is an incredible production that has been a joy to work at the Odyssey.
And what's your job on this?
I'm the director, man.
All right.
It's all up to me. Yeah. So we have a really interesting thing we're doing with Killer's Head is a revolving group of actors, just as in New York. And Dermot Mulroney is repeating he's making his L.A. premiere as a theater actor. You can go to the Odyssey website and get tickets. It closes March 8th, or unless it gets extended. And I think it's going to be a real fascinating and edifying evening in the theater.
The price of a ticket is how much?
I have no idea.
It's on the bottom down there, sir?
$32 and $37, and the previews are $15.
Yes.
And tickets for $10 available for Friday, January 24th, Wednesday, February 5th, and Sunday, February 16th.
Right. Odyssey Theater has been around for a long time.
This is their 50th season.
Yes.
And I've known them all this time.
My goodness.
So we kind of started out around the same time when everyone realized, wait, L.A. deserves real, honest to goodness, for the art theater. And we've been doing it all these years.
Wow. They have wine nights. They have all kind of special nights.
They do everything Ron Saucy has kept that theater going with the same goal and assignment for 50 years.
Wow.
It's absolutely incredible. I acted in a play with him a couple of years ago called Dance to Death. And it's a joy to work there. It can be difficult, as any theater process can be tumultuous, and this has been.
Give us the date one more time before we leave.
It opens January 18th.
Okay.
And it runs to March 8th. And we got previews running up to that are cheap. Come down. We need your help. We need your input. That's the other thing about theater. The audiences are right there. You can hear them breathing. And that's extremely exciting for any actor.
You need to write a book, my God.
I'm writing a memoir, but it's, yeah. I've had a lot of. I was in the room when Nelson Mandela met Muhammad Ali. In the room, as close as I am to you. I did the 75th birthday for Desmond Tutu. I did the program for his birthday. Things like that have come my way that I'm so grateful for.
I'd like to thank a good friend of both of us, Lucy Pollock, for bringing you out here
Lucy
today.
Pollock is the best publicist in the biz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Best. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, and thank you, Darrell. Can I have your right hand, please?
Yes, you can.
I have to give you one of these, sir.
Oh, man, I'm never going to spend it.
Good luck. You'll never be broke.
To.
You always have something to do.
That is beautiful. Thank you so
very
much
for coming today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Special thanks to our sponsors, Harvey Brandman Photography is an Art, Ron Irwin's Haiku, Style, Passion, Heart, Larry Buford's Book to the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule, State Farm Agent Carla Green, and Rob Brownstein's Acting Training School and Actors Space. And much thanks to our guest today, veteran actor-producer Michael St. John and veteran actor Darrell Larson. And, of course, special thanks to our ever-growing audience. Be well. We'll see you next time.